A minute to go live. I hope everybody's doing good. Happy Thursday, everybody. Thursday after Thanksgiving. I didn't see you guys last week. It's great seeing you this week. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. Remembered all the things that you have to be grateful and thankful for. And as we go into what is going to be what? Our last month of the year. That's hard to believe. December 1st already. But we're there. And hey, we are approaching, like I said, the end of the year and an opportunity to go out powerful and determined to make the next year even better than what we may have seen this year. So, as I promised some months back, I am going to continue to give you some ammunition to have you start the year on fire. That's my goal. And so we're steadily talking about reinvention. And some weeks back, I thought about kind of a recurring theme, recurring things that I have been hearing and seeing and even feeling myself. And this word just kept sticking out to me. And that word is exodus. So many of us need to flee. So many of us need a way out of so many of the things that have been holding us back mentally, physically, emotionally. It's all in mental, just personal development type things that we really need to focus in on. And it has really been a theme that has occurred so often and has really pressed into my spirit so much that it prompted me to launch an entire podcast series that's going to be entitled Exodus. It is time to break free. And I know that seems like a strange theme for the Christmas season, right? Or for the end of the year. But there are so many of us that need to do just that. It's time to break free from some of these strongholds, from some of these things that have been holding us hostage, keeping us in a box, keeping us from thinking outside of the box and knowing some of the things that we can expand on to be greater, to be more powerful, to be healthier, to be better in a better mental place. So, for that reason, I decided to launch Exodus. And I'll tell you some more about that in just a second. But tonight, again, we're talking about it's time to break free. And it is. It's time to break free of those things that we talk about so often that truly do hold us back. Um, and all of this that I'm talking about tonight is as we gear up for this Exodus podcast. So, first of all, before I go any further, I will say that podcast series is going to happen the week of December 9th. So, stay tuned because I have some powerful reinforcement coming in during the first 3 days of that week to really focus in on this Exodus and to help us to break free. Because it's time, y'all. It's time. So there's some things that we have to understand. I'm talking about breaking free. Breaking free of what? And one word comes to mind when I think about that: chains. You know, many of us feel so trapped in life, and we feel trapped in a life that doesn't really feel entirely our own. And I talk about that all the time because we're so focused on perhaps doing things for others or doing just what we need to do to get by, right? Just what we need to survive, whether it may be a job that drains us or relationships that don't fulfill us or, habits that keep us from being our best, that keep us from growing. We all know the feeling of just being stuck. And being stuck is not a pretty place or a pretty feeling or a good thing to feel, right? You know, I can recall so many instances in life where I was just stuck. Yeah, one of them did deal with career and trying to figure out, I know right out of college it was my major is this, but I'm not doing anything in my major. I'm starting to feel my way. And in feeling my way to find the career that I really wanted to, there were so many instances where I was stuck that I really felt as though there was no way for me to be pulled out. And if you don't watch it when you get to that point, you will just kind of acquiesce and just feel as though I'm here. Let me just stay here. You don't really want to find out what else is out there that may be outside of this block that you've put yourself in. And being stuck, it's a vicious cycle. You often try to get unstuck and only end up sticking yourself in further, right? If you don't do the right things to focus on all of the elements that go into you being in this stuck place. So, I know what it feels like to be stuck. And trust me, there are times, even though I know that there are methods and there are things that I've helped people to coach through and to go through and things that I've studied that will help you to become unstuck. That doesn't necessarily mean that you always remember to do those things for yourself, right? I'm preaching to myself now because I don't always remember to do those things that will get me unstuck. And if you're anything like me and you need a refresher, just hang in there with me because we have the cavalry on the way and we're going to work on getting past those points of being in that quicksand that we have, in many instances, feel as though it's supposed to be our permanent home. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight quicksand is not your domicile, it's not your place to live. All right. So, even though we feel stuck, I want to give you some hope. All right. For those of you who just feel like you're never going to move past where you are, you're never going to be in that job that you really want, you're never going to have that relationship, that house, the finances aren't ever going to be right. A huge part of us moving from the stuck place and actually getting to some of those things that we want is making sure that we have the right mindset. So imagine if you could just step out of those shadows, the shadows of all of the things that seem to be haunting you, those things that you really want to get past, those things that you really want to put behind you. Those are the things that you are able to do if you really focus in on where I'm talking about breaking free from. And that's breaking free mind, body, and spirit. So, first of all, let's talk about the power, all right, of breaking free. I already talked about, being stuck and feeling like you're in chains. Well, now we're going to talk about the power of breaking free. Our minds, just like I said a few minutes ago, our minds can be our biggest prisons or our greatest liberators. It's up to us, depending on how we program our minds to work, right? On how we work on our minds so that we can break free from those things that seem to be kind of holding us down. And breaking free basically means one predominant thing, and that is getting rid of, squashing, eradicating those self limiting beliefs and fears. You know, those things that kind of hang out on your shoulder. I have a girlfriend who says, they kind of sit on my earlobe and dangle on my earring so that they can get closest to my ear and just whisper all of those things of gloom and doom to me. I know I'm not the only one who goes through that. I can't see you, but I know that this resonates with a number of people. So, getting rid of those, getting past that is really your first step in transforming to be what you want or to be where you want and to do what you want to do. So, breaking free of those limiting beliefs are the first step in doing that. So, not only are we talking about the importance of eradicating those self limiting beliefs, that mindset, we're also talking about the importance of ensuring that our bodies, which are our homes that house everything, right? What we feel, what we think, what we can do, how we react, what it is that we're capable of moving on. Really, our bodies are that home that houses all of that stuff. So it's important to make sure that in addition to our mind, our bodies are straight too. Because we can't break free from anything thinking we're going to break through mentally and not be able to break through physically. One feeds into the other. So it means that we have to really focus on not ignoring the signs that our bodies may be giving us that we really aren't operating at our optimal level. And one way to make sure that we're tapping into our bodies is to ensure that whatever is not working properly, we find out what that is and then find the best means to correcting that. So, breaking free means we have to focus on breaking the chains here, and we have to focus on whatever is constricting us and keeping us unhealthy in the rest of us. And all of this right here is your core for transformation. Your core, everything that you want to do, all the reinvention that you want to take place, you have got to have this core straight in order to do that. So, those are the things that we're talking about when we're talking about Exodus and breaking free, making sure that we have our mind straight, making sure that we have our body straight, and making sure that our hearts are straight. What are we harboring? What is it that we're harboring that is really hindering us? Past failures that are hindering us. What about disappointments in people? Disappointments in things that we really knew were going to be our breakthroughs and just didn't make it. Disappointment in investments that we've made. Disappointments in just any area of life, period. How many of us are harboring ill will because of some of these disappointments, because of people who have disappointed us? How many of us have disappointed ourselves and we are not extending ourselves the grace that's needed so that we know that it's okay if we mess up, we have an opportunity to do things over again. The grace that's needed so that we can learn from those mistakes and reinvent and move into an area where we can definitely prosper. I always say embrace the journey. Embrace those things that you've gone through because they've all been there for a reason, right? If for nothing else than to tell us we don't need to go that way again. It's a lesson that we've learned and a valuable one that's going to help us to plow forward, to continue in the direction that we need to go. So we have to make sure that our bodies, our minds, and our soul is at the core of what we think, of course, what we believe, and who we are. It's our heart that really makes us the people that we are, and that really we need to tune into so that we can tap into what our purpose really is, what our passions really are. If we listen and focus in on those things, we'll be able to understand them. Make sure that we work on making sure that they're in alignment with what they need to be in alignment with so that they can all work together to bring about the results that we want. When we align our lives with our soul's purpose, we don't just exist. I always talk about pursuing purpose and the power of pursuing that and understanding that when you tie into that, you don't just exist. That is when you get that life that thrives, one in which you are not in a mediocre state, one in which you are not just treading water, all right, to keep yourselves above at breathing level, but one in which you're actually flourishing, blooming, and moving into what and where what you want to be and where it is that you want to go. It's about finding out what makes us tick, what makes us happy, what makes us sing. There's an exercise that we do that talks about what is it that makes your heart sing. And we go through all of the things. When I say we, I mean when I work with my clients, we go through all the things that bring us joy. Because you know what? It's some of those things that definitely tie in, if not all of them, that really tie into our purpose and really tie into what we need to do and what we need to pursue to break free from the chains that are holding us. So, what we need to do to break free, we need to get our minds, we need to get our bodies, and we need to get our souls right. I've been doing conferences on reinvention and journey sharing, and there's been a recurring theme across all of them. And all of them have dealt with these three things that really need to get straight, that need to be healthy, and to get into alignment. So that is what we focus on. Those are the things you need to do. Get rid of the limiting beliefs. Ensure that you are working so that your body is operating in optimal shape, right? So that you can be supported, so that this body can support those things that you desire to do as you move through life. And also making sure that your soul is right, that you're tuning into your heart and your purpose, and your heart's in the right place. And you're not harboring things like unforgiveness, and you're not focusing on past failures, and making sure that in all you do that you're extending yourself grace. So Exodus, it's time to break free. Focus on those things just a bit. But I want you to really come back and join me in a couple of weeks when we do the Exodus series. I have Melissa Brown, who is known as the Soul Love Coach, who is my life coach and who has just helped me to navigate some really dangerous and tricky waters, to be able to understand what soul ties mean, what wounds mean, what it is that you need to do to ensure that your soul is in the right place. You do not want to miss her as one of my podcast guests for Exodus. Another guest, Dr. Tabitha Russell, who is the millionaire mindset mogul. She's going to get our minds right. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Melissa also talks deeply about making sure that our mindset is straight. But Dr. Tabitha is going to deal with us on how we think about our finances, because it's time for us to break free of what we think we can't do because of what we see as limiting finances, or where things may not be where we want them right now. There is a whole methodology and a whole science behind getting your mind mentally straight and getting that financial mindset that you need to be that millionaire mogul that you really can be. She's going to be with us and talk to us about our mindset around money, plus some other things. And then I have Dr. Michelle Johnson, who talks about how food is our real medicine. She puts biblical principles behind it. She is a doctor, a bariatric doctor, who has studied this intensely and who brings such knowledge and expertise to this field. And you would be amazed at how we can heal our bodies by what it is that we put in them, and how it is that we look at our diet, how it is we look at our bodies, and what it is we feed to our bodies. So again, Exodus, y'all, it's time to break free. And I'm helping. The month of December, in 2 weeks, you want to be here for the podcast. It's going to be broadcasting live via Thought for Thursday, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and I'll finish things off on Thursday. So we have a 4-night series that I'm so excited about, and you don't want to miss it. It will be 8 o'clock each night. And watch out for my social media. And if you're on my mailing list, and if not, you want to get on my mailing list. So make sure that you DM me so I can get you on there, so that you will have the inside scoop on and get it first to find out exactly how these lineups are coming. All right. So it took a little longer, but I really focused in on a topic that has been near and dear to me, and something that's been resonating for a few weeks now. It is time for us to break free. Exodus. It's time to break the chains. Let's focus on doing that as we break into what it is that we want to do, where it is that we want to be when we start 2024. All right. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. It looks like my internet connection even held up tonight. Thank God. I've been having real trouble with that. But listen, I want you all to go out and be boldly yourselves because you are needed just the way you are. Your touch is needed to make a difference somewhere. Make a difference in your life. Make a difference in the lives of others. I want you to know that you are worthy of being happy, that you are worthy of good things happening to you. Somewhere along the line, life has really started to press on us, and many of us feel as though we're not even worthy of better. You're worthy of better because God says so. He made you fearfully and wonderfully to do awesome things. But that thumbprint that he gave you that's unique, that no one else has, that only you have. Go out and touch something with it. Join me back here next week. And of course, definitely join me for Exodus in 3 weeks. I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, the week of December 9th. That's it. You guys have a great weekend. Get your R's in. Rest, restore, reinvigorate, relax, all those things. Make sure you make time for that. All right. Have a great one.